But I think one of the biggest lessons that we have to take away from what happened and is happening to our brothers and sisters in South Africa is this. Despite the fact that as individuals, they have the will to survive, as a person, it is superior and more desirable to be alive than it is to be dead. That's a question that doesn't need to be answered. It doesn't need to be asked because it is just so obvious. And yet, despite the fact that they want to be alive, despite the fact that they want to protect their loved ones and ensure their life and the happiness, etc. Surely this little girl, her family would have liked to have done, Kayla's family would have done anything they could to have ensured her a long and fruitful, beautiful life, a life with friends and enemies, a life with ups and downs, boyfriends, an engagement, a wedding, the dance with her father, a first child, grandchildren for her parents. That was all robbed from these people. And they wanted that reality more than anything in the world. But something was lacking in their lives to enable them to come together as a united force against the anti-white ideology that was consuming and is consuming that nation. They had no rallying point. They had no authority, no ideology, no religion that spoke to them, to which they yielded, to which they listened, to which they lent credence, to which they acted as a united whole, as a body insurmountable in their genius and strength. So being widely dispersed, despite their desire to live and have these wonderful moments in their lives, despite that desire to live, in their individuality, they have been eaten alive. So it is this faith, it is this allegiance to a single entity that speaks to us all with a single voice that will empower us. That is what was lacking in Rhodesia. That is what is lacking in South Africa. And it is what is currently lacking in the rest of the West. That is what we need to be building. That is what we are building. Because, to use a line from a movie, as God is my witness, we are going to stop more Kaylas from happening. We are going to have more little girls and little boys come to the fruition of their lives by our acts, by our sacrifices of courage, by our standing up to this system of anti-white ideology. So I ask you all, actually, if we could just briefly take a few moments of silence and quiet the chat for Kayla and her family and all of our people, our brothers and sisters in every Western nation who have had their lives snuffed out by anti-white monsters. Thank you. So, having said that, we have a lot of people, and this is an important thing because people want to know what to do. What can they do? How can they be a hero for our people? How can they stop more Kaylas from happening? Well, you want to know how? You look to that hero right there on your screen, Traditional Mike. That is what a hero looks like today. She speaks beyond her grave because of that man. She speaks to millions And they will speak to millions because of that man. Her voice wasn't snuffed out. Her body might have been taken. But this hero speaks for her, and she to the rest of us. And what will that do? You think that won't have power? If you doubt it for 1 second, there is no piece of hardware that you can find on planet Earth that will wield more power than the voices of our slain come to life again by heroes like Traditional Mike. That is where the real hero is today. He will save countless numbers of our people, while other ideas will do nothing but sit idle. So if you want an example, it's Mike right here. And if you want to help that cause, if you want to magnify Kayla's little voice from the grave, then you get on his Twitter. You retweet the things that he says. You pick a victim, and you sponsor that victim's voice on into eternity by way of your social media. The stories are horrific. These are the stories that will reach the ears of our white brothers and sisters at every rung in our civilization. And that will undermine the anti-white power structure. So having said that, I will stay on top of the super chats, but otherwise give it to Jared and the questions and have Mike share as much of the information as we can get from him.
Still might not connect it to wider patterns. So I'd like to get into that. But first, do you have anything more to say about Kayla?
I think the important thing to remember is with Kayla's case, or with anyone else, is that, as Jason pointed out, and rightfully so, you know, these people aren't. Every month we see, as you've pointed out, Jared, we have the numbers. We have, you know, X number of attack victims, X number of murder victims. These people aren't numbers. These people aren't numbers to me. These people are people. They are real people who just want to go about their normal daily lives, the same as you or I or anyone viewing this stream. And they have the right to do that, the same as we do, regardless of whether of the country that you live in. You have the right to live your life as you need to. And, you know, Kayla was a real person. John Bozeman, who was a farm victim murder victim from last year, is a real person. Johan Higginus, who is a very famous case from 2016 as well, who was shot in front of his own daughter and his wife, is a real person. These are real people. We need to, as Jason said, find the story that connects with us. And I've had people ask me, why this story? Why this 9-year-old girl? And I honestly cannot answer. There's just something in this story that has resonated with deep within my spirit and my soul, and I just have run with it. And I'm very thankful I found it, because even if I reach 5 people with this story, more than there was before, then I have done what I want to do. I mean, obviously I would like to reach as many as I can, but if I can reach one more person today, one more person tomorrow, then it does honor to Kayla's memory and Marie's memory and Monty and Kenneth and the entire family. And when I did all the work that I did, Kayla's godmother said, "Thank you so much for what you do. We thought we were alone. We didn't think anyone knew about this." And it has brought such relief to the extended family of Kayla and her mum especially, to know that I'm here. And that's what we can do from the outside, is we can provide a crutch, a support structure for these extended families and those who survive these attacks, that they know that we are here for them outside of South Africa. You know, I have people contact me and say, you know, we're so thankful you're there. We know you're doing your best. Thank you very much for what you do. And that's what makes the difference. You know, we may not be able to fly in there and just pull them all out and bring them to America or Australia for safety, but we can give them comfort, and that is perhaps one of the greatest things we can do.
Hear, hear.